Welcome to Self-Care in Stressful Times. My name is Dana Bristol Smith. I'm the Executive Director of Leap to Success. We are a women's empowerment organization based in Carlsbad, California. And our mission is to educate and empower women who are overcoming domestic violence, homelessness, and other major life challenges to help them reach their greatest potential. And sometimes I forget about that piece, to reach our greatest potential, but I think that's so important for all of us right now as we are all experiencing the pandemic, experiencing probably more stress than we have for a while with the continuing uncertainty in our environment. So that's why we created this 30-minute webinar, Self-Care in Stressful Times, to give you a guided mindfulness practice and to give you a specific tool or technique to help navigate the uncertainty. Today's topic, as it will be through the end of the year, is calming anxiety. Over 40% of Americans say that they are feeling symptoms of anxiety or depression. Calls to National Alliance on Mental Illness, known as NAMI here in San Diego, are more than double of what they were just last year. People are looking for help for themselves, for their loved ones, and for their friends to get through the uncertainty of this time, to manage anxiety, to bring down levels of stress, and to help ease the signs and the symptoms of depression. And those might be some of the things that you're feeling right now. Local mental health experts encourage self-care and seeking support. So I'm so glad that you're with us today because you're investing 30 minutes in your own self-care, and you're being part of our supportive community at Leap to Success. Many of you with us are our community partners, our supporters, our donors, and our program participants. So I'm really glad that you're here with us today. First, I'd like to check in with you by conducting a poll to measure what is your current rate of stress or anxiety on a 0 to 10 scale. So I will ask Alyssa to put up our poll so we can have our check-in right here at the beginning. And if you've been with us before, you know that we kind of take our temperature this way. We do it at the beginning of the webinar and we do it at the end of the webinar. We have consistently seen people's stress level drop by about 50%. So we know that by you investing this time in yourself, you're decreasing the level of cortisol in your body, you're bringing those stress hormones down. And that's so important because illness, doctors and experts say that up to 90% of illness originates in stress in our bodies. So you're taking good care by participating. Okay, I see on our poll, it's gonna be up for about another 10 seconds, that our average right now is a 6 on a 1 to 10 scale. And we've got somebody up at a number 8. So take a deep breath. Relax in your chair where you're sitting, and I'm going to introduce you to Kelly Grimes, who is going to walk us through our mindfulness practice for today. Here's Kelly.
Thank you so much, Dana. Welcome, everyone. Really prioritizing taking time to relax and settle ourselves is so important in these times, and to connect with ourselves. So I'm very happy to introduce to you the lake meditation today. I first experienced this with a mindfulness-based stress reduction program developed by John Kabat-Zinn over 35 years ago at the University of Massachusetts. It has been a meditation that anyone who has taken mindfulness-based stress reduction has used as a way of accepting all that is and remembering that we can go deep into our resilience. So I'm going to invite you into this. If you would settle into where you're sitting, close your eyes. You can practice this meditation both lying down or in a reclining position or just seated comfortably. And I want to have you start off bringing that spirit of curiosity and non judgment to yourself and just noticing what it feels like for your body to make contact with where you are resting. I want to have you think about, how is your weight distributed? Actually sense into your body if you can, feeling your feet, your legs, your hips, your lower body, and have a sense of connecting into your upper body, your arms, your shoulders, and your head. And when you're ready, bring awareness to your breath, the actual physical sensation of breathing in and out. See if you can just let the breath be without trying to change or regulate it in any way, just allowing it to flow easily and naturally in its own rhythm and pace. Knowing that you're breathing and you're just allowing yourself to know that in that breath, you are complete, you are whole in this very moment. So as you rest here, let an image form in your mind's eye of a lake, a body of water, large or small, held in a receptive basin by the earth itself. Noting in your mind's eye and in your own heart that water likes to pool in low places. It seeks its own level. It asks to be held and contained. Letting this image gradually come into greater focus. And if it doesn't come as a visual image, allow a sense of this lake and a feeling of its presence. The lake you're imagining may be deep or shallow, maybe blue or green, muddy or clear. With no wind, the surface may be flat or mirror-like, reflecting trees and rocks, the sky and clouds, holding everything in itself momentarily. Wind may come up. It may stir up waves, causing the reflection to distort or maybe disappear. But then the sunlight may sparkle in the ripples and dance on the waves of play like shimmering diamonds. And when night comes, it's the moon's turn to dance on the lake. Or when the surface is still, to be reflected in it along with the outline of trees and shadows. In the winter, the lake may freeze over, yet be teeming with movement and life below. As you rest here breathing and establish this image of the lake in your mind, allowing yourself, when you're ready, to bring that image inside yourself completely so that your being merges with the lake, becomes one with it, so that all your energies in this moment are held in an awareness of openness and compassion for yourself. Just in the same way as the lake waters are held by the receptive and accepting basin of the earth itself. Breathing as the lake, feel its body as your body. Allowing your mind and your heart to open, to be receptive, and to moment by moment, reflect on whatever comes near. Or See if you can look clear all the way to the bottom. Experiencing moments of complete stillness when both reflection and water are completely clear. And then other moments, perhaps when the surface is disturbed, choppy, stirred up, reflections in the depths lost for the moment. And through it all, you lie or sit here, simply observing the play of the various energies of your own mind and heart. The fleeting thoughts and feelings and impulses and reactions, which come and go just as ripples and waves do. We can just note their effects. In contact with them, just as you're in contact with the feel and the various changing energies that play on the lake, the wind, the waves, the light, the shadows and reflections, the colors and the smells. Noticing the effect of your thoughts and your feelings, you can ask yourself these questions. Do they disturb the surface and clarity of the mind's lake? Do they muddy the waters? Is that okay with you? Isn't having a rippling or wavy surface a part of being a lake? Might it be possible to identify not only with the surface of your lake, but the entire body of water, so that you become the stillness below the surface as well, which at most experiences only gentle undulations, even when the surface is choppy and ragged. And in the same way, in your meditation or mindfulness practice in your daily life, you can be in touch not only with the changing content and the intensity of your thoughts and feelings, but also with the vast, unwavering reserve of awareness itself, residing below the surface of your mind. The lake can teach us this. And we can remind ourselves over and over that the lake is within ourselves. If you find this image to be of value, you may want to use it from time to time to deepen and enrich your meditation practice. You might also invite the lake image to empower you and guide your actions in the world as you move through the unfolding of each day, carrying this vast reservoir of mindfulness within your heart. Dwelling here in the silence of this moment until signaled by the sound of the bell, we can be the lake in the silence now, affirming our ability to hold in awareness and in acceptance right now all of the qualities of our mind and body. And just as the lake sits held, cradled, contained by the earth, reflecting the sun, the moon, the stars, the trees, the clouds, the birds, the light, caressed by the air and the wind, which bring out and highlight its sparkle, its vitality, its potential, moment by moment. So are we. Before I invite the bell, I invite you to breathe in a deep sense of gratitude for being the lake with all its storms and moments of peace. Thank you so much, friends. I'm going to hand things off to Dana.
I will receive that, Kelly. Thank you. And thank you for sharing that lake meditation. That was really wonderful to have that sense of the lake, and that even when things are choppy and stirred up on the surface, we can be still on the inside. That's such a great thought to hold. And I think it's a really wonderful way to let go of anxiety, to recognize it and be able to let go. So continuing with our water theme for today, I'd like to introduce you to a process that is called RAIN. And RAIN is an acronym for recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. So I would like you to bring to mind a current situation that you're feeling anxious about. Contacting charged emotions that we feel is the starting place to be able to feel the healing aspects of RAIN. So think about a situation that is giving you anxiety right now. And I'm going to walk you through some questions to consider. Now, you can also use RAIN for any uncomfortable feelings, feelings of anger, feelings of pain, feelings just of being really charged. So it's a really good practice to go to when you're feeling unsettled and dealing with something difficult. So bring that situation to mind, whatever it is. And I'm going to walk you through the process. So R stands for recognize. And I'd like you to ask yourself, what is happening inside of you right now? When you think about the situation, what's happening in your body? Do you feel your heartbeat increase? Do you recognize thoughts just stirring around in your mind? What sensations are you most aware of? What emotions? Take a moment to recognize whatever is most dominant right now. Now take a breath. A stands for allow. And this, my friends, is not easy because we don't like those uncomfortable feelings. We don't like those heightened emotions, and we really fight against them. So A stands for allow, and it's to allow life to be just as it is right now. So here's where you can send a message to your heart to let be whatever the experience is. Find in yourself the willingness to pause and just accept that in this moment, whatever is, just is. You're simply noticing what's true. You're not trying to judge it. You're not trying to push it away. You're just allowing it to be. So take a breath in and see if you can bring that situation to mind and just allow it. Good. I stands for investigate. And this is where you use gentle, curious attention. So you bring an interested and kind attention to your experience. And some of these questions might be helpful. Where are the feelings strongest in your body? Is it in your neck? Is it in your shoulders? You can think back to the meditation that Kelly led us through and see if any of your body, see if your body's sending you a message from anywhere. Maybe it's a stiff lower back. Maybe it's your hips. Now, with curiosity, think about the emotions that you're feeling. What are you feeling? And if you're feeling uncomfortable right now, that's normal. And especially when you're trying something new. And we're just trying to notice it here. We're not trying to fix anything. We're investigating, we're looking at it. So keep listening to your body and listen to what this place in you truly needs. If it's heightened emotions or pain in your body somewhere, see if you can listen to what it truly needs. And go ahead and take a nice deep breath here. Good. Now the N in RAIN stands for nurture. So you might gently place your hand on your heart right now, or visualize yourself surrounded by a soft light, a soft, soothing light. Or you might think back to the lake and feel the calm presence of the lake. You might imagine someone that you trust holding you with love. Discover what best allows you to feel nurtured right now. And what does it feel like to be loved, to be seen, to be safe? Give yourself that gift right now. What is it? What thought can you hold? What might you practice that will allow you to feel nurtured, that will allow you to feel cared for? Something that you can do for yourself. Good. Take a nice deep breath in. Now, as we complete the process of RAIN, we shift from doing and thinking about it to being. And the invitation here is simply to relax and see if you can relax back into your own heart and feel what has emerged. And see if you can feel comfortable with that. A sense of ease, a sense of grace, a sense of kindness, and a sense of nurturing yourself. And take that nice deep breath in. And I'd like to invite you to share with us. We have a lot of people on this webinar right now because this topic of calming anxiety is so important. But what I'd like you to share is, what can you do for yourself to nurture yourself? What came to mind to help you feel nurtured? And go ahead and put that in the chat. And I'd like to share some of these out loud because we all learn from each other. So what came to mind? For me, when I think about that, I think about being kind to myself and not being hard on myself in situations that I'm uncomfortable with. You know, my tendency is to struggle against them, whether it's pain or difficult emotions. I don't like feeling them. So I want to push them away. I don't think about, how can I be kind to myself here? How can I be compassionate to myself? So what came to mind to allow you to feel nurtured? Yeah, self-compassion is so important. Someone is sharing here that her granddaughter that passed, she imagines her hugging her and laying her head on my chest and telling me, "I love you, Nani." Wow, that's really beautiful. So we might think about a loved one that is still with us or not, and that really beautiful soft embrace and how that makes us feel. Someone else has shared forgiveness. Yeah, forgiveness is a huge burden that we can lift off of ourselves to nurture ourselves. Someone else has shared taking a walk when she's anxious is her best self-nurturing practice, allows her to process the emotions and energy out of the body. Someone else has shared being in the moment and not judging myself and being compassionate. Someone else has shared gardening, indulging in something like gardening, and when there may be other things that have a higher priority, but gardening can help her reconnect. And someone else says to cut herself some slack. Yeah, I think we can all do that. Someone else putting her face in the sun just standing outside, letting ourselves feel the warmth of the sun. Something that I like to do is look at trees. I have a lot of trees in my neighborhood right now, and the leaves are turning because we're in the middle of autumn. So just noticing that change and taking a deep breath in can be really, really helpful in nurturing. Someone else has shared stretching and rolling on her Swiss ball. I imagine it's one of those large balls that you can sit on. Someone else says being given loving attention. Wow, those are a great, great list of nurturing ideas. And friends, what I would love for you to remember is that all of these things that are mentioned, they don't happen outside of ourselves, but they are gifts, they are activities, they are thoughts and emotions that we give to ourselves. So put your hand on your heart right now and feel that sense of nurturing yourself with whatever it is that you can give yourself in times where you're anxious, in times where you're feeling stressed. And it might be as simple as just taking a deep breath in. It might be imagining the lake and the stillness of the lake, and that we can embody that. So thank you so much for being with us and for practicing with us today, practicing your self-care. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Kelly, who's going to close and take our final poll. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you so much, Dana. Oh, thank you all for those beautiful examples of ways that you nurture yourself. It's so helpful to hear other ideas so that we can start incorporating new ways in of treating ourselves with that kindness, that compassion, and to really prioritize nurturing ourselves, especially when we're anxious. And I know how difficult that can be. So let's check in. We checked in at the beginning, and we're checking at the end to see what is your current level of stress. Think that I like that Dana said something about it's kind of like taking our temperature, engaging where we are. We know that the more we can identify a change with any actions that we take, the more motivated we are to continue with them. So that's what this whole self-care and stressful times is about. So thank you so much for putting your answers to that, and it'll end shortly, and then I'll be able to share them out so we can see. I think it's nice also to do this work collectively, that we know we're in community in addressing the challenges and changes that are happening for all of us. We have our individual, and then we have our collective stress that we're all under. So thank you so much. So it looks like we've had some shifts. We still have some folks that are in a place of 6 and 7, and we know that sometimes it takes these practices and using them over and over again to be able to shift. But we have some people really in the whole continuum from 1 to 5 is the majority of folks that we have in Summit 6. So I really deeply appreciate you showing up here today. Remember, you are showing up for yourself, but you are showing up for the community, and it makes a difference. I want to offer you some closing words from Deepak Chopra. Every time you're tempted to react in the same old way, ask if you want to be a prisoner of your past or a pioneer of your future. I think that understanding that we can be pioneers of our future, especially in a time of a pandemic and all the stresses that we're facing, that we could actually see that we are adventurers in a place of the unknown. And when we use these tools of coming home to ourselves, of being present, of being able to manage what comes up, and then to really be able to tap into the deep reservoir of resilience and courage and strength within us, then we can have confidence that we can navigate this with grace and ease. So thank you so much. I hope that some of these tools have been helpful to you today. And I certainly hope that you will join us again next Tuesday on Zoom or Facebook Live for self-care in stressful times. Be well, friends, and safe. Take good care. Bye-bye.